What's up, guys? My name's Saunders, aka Saundezy, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a manual. All right, so before you actually start on trying to learn this trick, there are a few things that I would say you need to be comfortable with, and that's having a good foot positioning on the scooter, being able to lift your scooter up off the back wheel a little bit so you can get into that manual position, and also just being comfortable with flowing the park on your scooter. All right, guys, so what basically comes into like the motion of this trick that you do need to know is basically when you are lifting up and you start to feel the manual go down a little bit, you want to straighten out your legs and pull the bars up to, counteract that. And when you feel it happening the other way around, you want to bend your knees instead of straightening them out and kind of allowing your hands to dip the bars down a little more. And combining the two of these is going to create a steady manual where you can find your balance point. All right, now the technique that does come into this trick, I would say, is you have to pretend like you're sitting on a hypothetical chair. It kind of looks a little bit like this. And I treat it as like you're riding a motorbike. You're hitting a wheelie on a bike, right? So you kind of want to lean back, have your weight towards the back of the scooter, while your arms are going to be pulling the bars up and down, and then you can find the balance point from doing that. All right, now to warm up and learn how to balance this trick properly, what you're going to want to do is just get comfortable with lifting your front wheel up and down off the scooter. It can look something like this. So when you're rolling, just getting the feel of pulling those bars up a little bit, and feeling where the balance point is going to be. And then the next step, I would also say, is finding a nice crack and then matching that with another crack to see how far you can go and try and make that like your goal. All right, so when approaching the manual, when you're about to actually try this trick, there are two things that I would say you need to do. So you kind of want to already start bended down so it's going to allow you to pull your scooter up a little easier. Kind of like so, like I said, sitting in that fake chair, even when approaching the manual itself. And then another thing would be having your footing kind of towards the back of the deck so your weight can pull back a little easier when you do pull up those bars. All right, so me personally, when I do a manual, this is kind of like the foot positioning that I like to have. I have them really close to the back of the scooter like that. I would say one about halfway and one fitting nice and snug on that brake or fender, whatever you have on your scooter. So now when you are in the middle of doing this trick, there's two things to keep in mind. So when you want your foot positioning towards the back, which will allow you to pull up and down a lot easier with your weight distribution to the back. And when you're falling down, you just pull up with your hands on the bars. And when you're falling back, you just push down. And that's kind of how you counteract the manual. One common mistake that I would say a lot of people do when learning this trick, which kind of restricts you from finding a good balance point, would be kind of like having a stiff positioning of the body on the manual and not being in that hypothetical chair. So you can naturally get that good knee bend, because if you're nice and above the scooter, you're not going to be able to bend down as easy. It's going to feel super awkward. So I would definitely say that's the one thing you should not do. Now, something that helped me actually get quite good at manuals that I think will help you guys out there is definitely, like I said, finding that crack-to-crack surface on just a flat, nice, smooth piece of concrete can help you find the balance point. Because once you find the balance point, you can take it anywhere. But I would definitely suggest just finding like a nice bit of flat ground to practice balancing on, like a netball court or something like that. All right, now the cool thing with learning this trick, it then leads you to asking yourself what you can do next. And that's just adding in combos. Once you learn one trick, you can start adding whatever you already else can do into the manual or out of the manual to create nice combos for yourself to do and post to Instagram. And yeah, that's basically all taught. Once you open the door, you can walk right through. All right, that's Saundezy checking out. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Now, if you do try this trick, make sure you post it to Instagram and post it in the community for feedback.